Are you ready to master one of the most popular editing styles by taking beautiful media, textures, and even your dog will use After Effects to create the most powerful collage edits? Let's jump in. Alright, the best way to approach collage animations is by 1. Knowing yourself, knowing your topic, and secondly, starting with a master element or object that you want to be the main focal point. You may get this project file in the description below. Now, with most elements, there might be a lingering, unwanted, and unloved background on your video or photo. When you're working with video and images that have a background, you may want to use the roto brush by double-clicking your layer and then painting over the object that you want to keep. Then scrub forward here in this timeline and let After Effects analyze your clip. And as a pro tip, you can hold Alt on your keyboard to paint out unnecessary selections. Then feel free to feather your object and no problem. Done. Picasso would be proud. Additionally, you can try Photoshop with your images, as you can remove the background with a single click, and then save that thing as a PNG and bring it back to After Effects. Now, feel free to take your videos, graphics, and images and start building out your scene, and it's good practice to keep your elements close by for the best visual results. For great separation and motion graphics, try using any of the shape tools to create yourself a custom shape that you may put behind your master graphic to draw more attention and to prevent those eyeballs drifting to your other details. You can also try using the glow effect a couple of times, as we gotta hold our viewers' eyes against their will. You can also use shape layers for mats, and specifically placeholders, by setting the track matte of your video or image to that shape, and bam, that easy. And while we're here, I should mention that it's probably unavoidable using the pen tool to create a mask on certain video layers to get the design that you want. Moving on to the 5th step, and I can't believe we're already there, we have to talk about texturing, as this is the technique that makes you one with the dark side. For instance, with some styles, you can simply right-click your layers and add a stroke. Then increase the size, and you commonly use, say, a white color. You can then copy and paste this stroke to your select graphics in your scene to create a unique look. Additionally, think about the background. Paper and scratch grunge images are, typically the norm. However, with this folded piece of paper, we can change the color with the tint effect and use the curves effect to get the brightness or darkness that we need. Now, if you have a series of, say, texture images, you can make them just a few frames long, spread them out like this, and then duplicate them a bunch of times to create a background that will eventually be changing constantly. But pre-compose all these and then set the blend mode to something like screen, which will mix it with your normal background color. Beautiful. And ensure you always produce beautiful work in no time with our free templates, seamless transitions, and customizable motion graphics. All here in our Motion Duck extension, you can add thousands of templates and presets directly into your project and tailor them to fit your needs in seconds. So keep your creative flow going with countless assets linked below, and if you do pick up anything, you will be supporting this channel, so thank you very much. Alright, we've done a lot of setup, but no animation, no action, if you know what I mean. The best part of collage animations is that the keyframing itself is generally very simple. You can animate the position and scale of layers to basically float on by or just animate in. And if you want to be a little bit frisky, you can move a layer's anchor point with the pan behind tool, and then by animating, say, the rotation, this layer will animate from that point. And you can loop an animation by alt-clicking the stopwatch and use the loop out ping pong expression, and your graphic will simply animate back and forth. You can also try, say, the wiggle expression on the position property to get that wonky, random movement. If you need to create repeated graphics, try the motion tile effect and expand the output width or the height, and then from here you can animate the tile center to seamlessly scroll your graphic on forever. Additionally, the puppet pen tool is your friend for more, detailed animations. Just plop on your points like so, and then you can move a pin around to animate your object. Just couple that with the loop out expression, and you can do some wild things like move some trees. Now, everything is coming together, but let's chat closely about some more advanced concepts. A great style is incorporating 3D depth. For example, make your collage graphics 3D and then feel free to duplicate a couple of those graphics. Then be sure to push their Z position, past us just like this, and then create a camera layer. From here, I would add some keyframes for point of interest and position on that camera, and then finally finish this off with the dolly towards cursor tool to zoom out of your scene, revealing those graphics. Then feel free to duplicate these graphics some more or add some new elements to stack this up to create your 3D depth animation. Now, for the finishing touches, here are my final recommendations that will make your boss beg you to take that job promotion. Firstly, I suggest using the noise effect on an adjustment layer, and then use something like 6 to 12% with unchecked color noise. This way you can emulate the noise that you get with video with your images. And on top of that, it might make sense for you to try the posterized time effect and set the frame rate to 12 to give you that stop motion feel. Lastly, to tie multiple slides together, especially if they consist of different, collage styles, grab this grain map from my free project and overlay it on top of everything like this. And as a bonus tip, think about how you can use collage elements to seamlessly transition your slides by. Subscribe to be the best, and always be creative.